Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Ryan Collins. I'm a business and technology integration expert with the data and AI practice at Accenture. And today I'm going to provide you with a brief demonstration of data lineage in Azure using Databricks with Spline. So Spline is a open source software. It aims to automatically and transparently capture lineage information from Spark jobs. And as part of the demonstration today, I'm going to show you three main components of Spline that we've stood up. So the first one here is going to be the Spark agent that sits on drivers capturing data lineage from our Spark jobs. This was configured in Databricks on our Databricks cluster. And then we have the actual Spline REST gateway that receives lineage from the Spark agent. This information is persists and is stored on a backend MongoDB. Here, Rongo is the example that I used for this demonstration. And then finally, we've got the web interface that provides users with the ability to not only visualize, but also drill down into high-level and detailed views of the technical lineage diagrams. So if I'll go back to the Databricks session here, there are three things that I configured in order to actually get the lineage diagram operationalized and working. We set up a Spark system configuration settings here in our first cell to store the information on the backend database as part of that REST API handshake that takes place. Then we have enabled the lineage tracking for this Spark session. As you can see here, calling the lineage harvester. And then finally, we ran a simple sample aggregation query to give us the actual technical detailed lineage visualization that we'll dive into next. So we'll go ahead and navigate back to my Spline dashboard. A few things to call out here. Foremost, anytime a lineage job or Spark job is run using Spline, we have what's created. It's called a execution event. We have some various attributes related here. One thing to point out is each application ID is a unique identifier for the execution event that is performed. And we also have the ability to search on attributes and filter on the actual dates if we want to boil it down to just a few lineage jobs that were performed. So within this execution event, we're provided initially with a high-level lineage overview. And initially, we can see that we have our input data source, the actual execution engine behind the entire diagram, and then we have our output data source. So the rubber really meets the road when you take a look at our execution plan. You can see some of the various characteristics as part of what we're capturing through Spline. But the muscle comes when we drill down into our detailed lineage. So within the detailed lineage, we have the ability to look at some of the logical relations that were performed from our input sources. We can take a look at subquery aliases for this actual query specifically. You can imagine that there are much more detailed and complicated steps that can be performed, but for the demonstration purposes today, we're just looking at some very simple join and also aggregation methods that were performed. What's interesting is you can see some of these Lambda functions, and you can actually drill down into these expressions to get a little bit further insight and details. We can also click on some of the input as well as the output characteristics and see how these sort of propagate throughout the entire lineage diagram. And so as a result, we're really provided with not only this detailed interactive diagram that shows us all of the different characteristics and attributes as well as functions, but it's fairly lightweight and easy to maintain. So that's going to be all for today.